Alright guys, well I'm heading back out there. First trip of the new season, new commercial fishing season anyway. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a quicker one, so got pretty average weather tonight and even worse tomorrow night. So probably plan on being back in before it gets too bad tomorrow night. But yeah, as of now it's about 5 o'clock this morning, just about first light. Heading out, a little bit of swell, so we've got to go a long way around north. A little bit of swell all trip, and like I said, the wind comes up a little bit to Savo, so it'll probably be a little bit average the whole time, to be honest. But I think it comes good tomorrow morning for a few hours. But yeah, hopefully the fish are hungry enough that we can put on enough on before the wind comes up that it makes it worth it. But yeah, definitely need to get out there. Been a little while, just had the school holidays off for the first time in a long time with the kids. So we need to get back out there and see how we go. Bottom hook. Fucking look at ya. Just look at ya. Fuck off. Nice workout. Yeah. Welcome to Wind Against Current. Anchored on the current and arse end into the wind. If the current's not that strong compared to the wind, then you sit side on. The worst part of this is the boat rarely sits on anchor well in these conditions. It just flaps about and it's a nightmare to hit the spot properly. Pretty common this time of year with the prevailing southerlies and the current more often than not coming from the north. Well, it's been a pretty damn slow start to the day. I think we're on about 6 or 7 spots and probably only got about double that of fish in the esky, so fish or 2 a spot. Fairly bad current so far, but we just come out from the 120s, 140s out to the 160s and may have gotten away from it. So the line's a bit more up and down. A little bit of a show on the sounder and a bit of bouncing going on, so hopefully a couple of fish coming up. See how we go. Couple of fish there, but hopefully.
The deeper stuff saw a couple of good drops, but still mostly only a couple of fish per drop. Not losing much bait on pretty decent shows, so the fish definitely weren't on. But got it pretty dialed in with a reasonable consistent current and just kept grinding, waiting for them to come on. Still getting decent fish on most spots, just not many of them. It took a while, but a couple of hours after sunset, the bite definitely picked up. Nothing too special, but consistently 5 or 6 fish each drop and a couple of times in each spot.
I'm definitely not match fit. This thing's shit. I have no idea why. It's exactly the same as all the other ones I've made. So.
The weather was a little bit average, and this combined with the 3 metre swell caused us to lose a few more than normal, with the fish being dragged up and down on the boat as it's rocking and as well with the swell. Enough for the line to even put a few rubbing marks on some of the fish. Not too big of a deal, it wouldn't affect the quality, but enough to notice, so it's not ideal.
One.
Get one. Probably just keep going with all your cods, I reckon. Yeah. High enough in the tub. He's a cod too.
Had a few people ask about stacking of the fish and why we stack them upside down, and the truth is I really don't have a solid answer. They do seem to stack well that way, and the top dorsal fin of the fish is quite solid, so it's good to get the weight on that instead of on the belly, and also nice to have the dorsal spines not pointing up when you're trying to unload them as well. Another positive is you don't get the guts of the fish leaking out of its arse onto the other fish, but you could say it's also a bad thing not letting them drain the crap out. But feel free to share your thoughts on this one. We kept going pretty hard until the fish started to slow right down and the sharks started to take over again a couple of hours before sunup. I was pretty sure we'd managed to put on about 500 kilos, so I was pretty happy with that in the conditions, so we had a break for a couple.
Get these reels in, eh? Yep.
Next morning it was back to about 2 fish at best on each spot.
It's undersized, bro. Swim this way, you dickhead. Well, that was all kinds of shit.
After grinding on that for a few, for not much at all, and knowing I'd be in before the weather came in that evening, I decided to do a bit of prospecting for some new ground. We ended up finding our way out to Ruby Depths, and despite a good show on the sounder, couldn't really get them to fire.
Awkward, but effective.
If it works.
Of course you do. Well, that's a pretty okay string.
With the current now ripping out here, we had to drift and only managed one reasonable string before we started to struggle to hold bottom. The weather on the way in that arvo, we headed in. Had to go the long way around North Passage with the swell right up still. This also made the channel a bit hectic with the wind right up now and heavy swell on the reef. The sea mist was next level. Can't really see in the video, but had to put a lot more faith in the GPS than I normally like to, not really being able to pick up the channel markers till the last minute. Back in and finished unloading just after midnight. Managed about 600, which I wasn't really stoked with, but considering it was only one night in those pretty average conditions, not really that bad. Cannot wait to get a decent break in the weather and able to have a proper crack out there over a couple of nights to try and fill the boxes. Hopefully on the next one, catch you then.